Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Africa. And to everyone else in other parts of the world, good morning. It's The Conversation on TOS Television Network. And thank God it's Friday. It's the Friday edition of The Conversation. Today is Friday, guys. The week is finally coming to a close. Okay? My name is Ade Suwasi.
And I am Merciful Ajinomo. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday,
Happy Friday to you, too.
I know you've got plans, of course, it's the weekend and
Yes.
everything. So after the show, you tell me about it,
Of course, definitely. Why not? Okay. All right, guys. So it's about that time where we bring you the quote of the day. Sankara there saying, the enemy of a person is a person who keeps, them in ignorance. So basically, whatever knowledge you have, be free with it, be open with it, share it, right?
Especially if they're your friends,
Don't hoard,
okay?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Don't hoard information or knowledge or something. Spread it around.
Because
And I feel like-
information and knowledge is part, yeah?
Yes, exactly. And I usually feel like, I think the more you share what you know, the better understanding you have of the subject.
Yes.
Right?
It happens through the education system. We
Yes.
have growing up and everything. You're reading, you're telling your friends about it, you're
Yes.
remembering it.
And
So
then you
the
just
more you
get-
tell people, the more you're affirmative about everything.
Exactly.
If you have actions, plans, and you tell people, you're like committing yourself to that
Exactly.
plan. That's how it's
So basically, it's even beneficial to you to actually spread knowledge. So don't hold it or don't hoard it. Spread it. Spread the love around. Okay, moving straight into development across Africa, starting with, the WHO report on coronavirus in Africa, where the WHO Regional Director for Africa, Mashidiso Moeti, has said many African countries are at high risk of COVID-19 resurgence as a result of poor adherence to public health measures, mass gatherings, low testing and vaccination rate. Mashidiso Moeti, who disclosed this during a virtual press conference yesterday, noted that while 3 countries might face very high risk of COVID-19 resurgence, 20 face high 22 moderate risk, and only 1 country faces low risk, according to the risk assessment of 46 countries. She explained that the risk was estimated using 7 indicators with data from the past 4 weeks, including COVID-19 cases per million people, the percentage of change in new cases, the percentage of change in new deaths, the reproductive number, that's the rate at which an infection spreads, the pandemic trend, the average weekly number of tests per 10,000 people, and the percentage of the population that has received at least 1 vaccine dose.
You see, it is as though if someone related to you does not has not had any of this, COVID-19 virus, or you don't know someone that's suffered from it, you do not believe it. Because
Yes.
in Africa, believe me, when you go around and see the amount of social gatherings that are happening at the same time, people don't even care about that social distancing. They don't care about observing all the protocols. You're like, oh, do these guys really believe in coronavirus?
Yes, a lot of people. I think I was going home one day and I heard one guy telling one lady that was wearing a face mask, why do you still wear this thing? Do you actually believe that COVID-19 exists? I mean, since we've been hearing, how many people do you know that has had COVID? And in my head, I was like, there's still people who don't actually think COVID is real.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's scary because if you have, I think you have a larger part of the population that has just relaxed. There are people who believed it but has relaxed on it because
Yes,
the
because there's
cases
been like a
wasn't-
space
Yes,
of not
a lot.
active cases. and
Exactly. So they
everything.
just feel like, well, it's not as serious or as it should be. So I just think with this whole, WHO statistics and all of that, as I always say, we cannot afford a resurgence of
No, we
COVID-19.
cannot.
So everyone should just, take proper precaution and ensure that we do not have to get there in Africa.
All right, still in Nigeria, talking about crimes against humanity, the International Criminal Court Trial Chamber 9 has sentenced Dominic Ongwen to 25 years in prison for crimes against humanity in Uganda. This happened in Uganda. And the Netherlands-based court Thursday's 25-year joint conviction is for a total of 61 crimes that include murder, widespread rape, sexual enslavement, abducting children, torture, and pillaging carried out in the early 2000s. Presiding Judge Bertram Schmidt, before announcing the verdict, said the chamber decided not to impose a sentence of life imprisonment on Dominic because it is an exceptional case under the statutes of the court. He will receive credits from January 2015 to today, May 6, 2021, for which he has he was detained, and that was yesterday. The 5-year period will be deducted from the sentence. The sentence would have been for 30 years. Judge Smith stated further that after Ongwen serves 2/3 of his sentence, the court will then review the sentence for a reduction possibility.
Yeah, I mean, this one has been ongoing for a while now and all of that stuff. And it was dragging because they felt like as the Ongwen himself was actually, a victim of all of this, because he was taken as a child and then turned into a child soldier, and he just rose, through the ranks and all of that stuff. But yeah, all of this happens in Africa, so. And then moving over to Nigeria, where according to the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, that's the NPHCDA data of May 5, 2021, a total of 1,266,742 people, eligible Nigerians, have been vaccinated with the first dose in the first phase of the COVID-19 vaccination. At least 5 states are yet to reach the 50% target mark of the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine. This brings the proportion of those vaccinated to 63.0%. The states yet to reach the 50% benchmark are Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Akwa Ibom with 39.6%, Anambra with 35.1%, Rivers State with 48.7%, Sokoto with 42.1%, and Taraba with 42.7%. Shortly after receiving his first dose of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine, the Commandant General of the Nigeria Security and Defense Corps, Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Audi, hailed the efforts of the Executive Director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Schwab, in ensuring that the vast majority of Nigerians receive the vaccines.
And so talking about Nigeria, talking about the 2022 African World Cup qualifiers home games, CAF and FIFA have approved 7 stadiums in Nigeria to host the Super Eagles 2022 World Cup qualifiers home games. The stadiums are Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Enugu State, National Stadium Abuja, Adoke Emesimaka International Stadium in Port Harcourt. Others include the Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba, Teslim Balogun Stadium in Lagos, Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin, and Akwa Ibom International Stadium in Uyo. It remains to be seen which of these stadiums will host the 3 home games, but the Akwa Ibom International Stadium in Uyo is the favorite. The stadium has hosted a majority of Super Eagles games since 2015, including all of the 2018 World Cup qualifiers.
I mean, that's quite interesting. All right, having said that, it's time we bring you COVID-19 updates from across Africa. Welcome back. That was COVID-19 updates from across Africa, according to the Africa Center for Disease Control, that's Africa CDC. And, as I always say, I mean, you heard this morning, the WHO has said there could be, resurgence, of the cases of COVID-19 in Africa. High one. And I think that Africa cannot afford to, have all of that at this time. I mean, it's encouraging, especially in Nigeria, that we have over 1.2 million people that are taking the first shot of the vaccine, but there's still so much to be done because we have over 200 million people and it's just 1 million. That's not even half of the population. So we need to do better. We need to take all the necessary precautions, hygiene seriously, wearing your face mask, mask gathering. We need to cut down on all of that so that we do not have, resurgence, a second wave or even a third wave of COVID-19 in Africa. Okay. All right. Having said that, it's about time where we bring you, newspaper headlines for this morning.
North to South Africa, East to West Africa, TOS TV Network is your digital-first Pan-African news network, bringing you news from across the continent. Visit our website www.tostvnetwork.com and follow us on social media at TOS TV Network on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Watch us on television, channel 138 on TSTV.
A big thank you for staying tuned to the conversation happening on TOS TV Network, your digital first Pan-African news network. It's that time where I tell you that you can always be a part of the social media community, following us across all our social media platforms. That's on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at TOS TV Network. And of course, our website, www.tostvnetwork.com. Don't also forget to subscribe on YouTube if you have not already done so. It's that time we'll bring you the newspaper review segment of the conversation, where we'll bring you some headlines from some of the national dailies for today. And we'll begin with Blueprint from the very top. We have the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria saying Nigeria's unity should not be compromised. And we can find the details of that on page 5. And just besides that, Governor Ishaku didn't order arrest, detention of 14 youth. That's coming from the Taraba State government. Also, you can get the details of that on page 5 of the Blueprint. And besides that, federal government suffers $470 million investment loss to 11 marginal field licenses revocation. We can get that on page 24. To the very obvious headline here, amidst service chief's assurances, gunmen kill 2 police inspectors, abduct Abia Varsity student. And we have 4 riders on the story. The first, negotiations ongoing for the release of Greenfield student coming from Gumi, and that's the Sheikh Gumi. And the next is abducted Kogi council boss regains freedom. Can get details of that on page 21. Senate restates need for supplementary budget. And South Korea ready to assist Nigeria. That's coming from the envoy. And we can get that on page 6. Just under the picture of the day, we're talking about the NIN. Registration will curb insecurity. That's coming from President Muhammadu Buhari. And on the right, it says, don't take deadline extension for granted. NCC wants. And stock market closes lower, sheds 167 billion naira. That can be found on page 24 of the Blueprint newspaper. Yoruba group raises their alarm of a plot to attack security agent. We can get that on page 22. Buhari, PFN, Taraba governor, orders commiserate with Adeboye over son's death. And that can be found on page 21 and 22 of the Blueprint. And the last headline for the Blueprint newspaper this morning is Abuja schools safe. FCTA assures. You can get that on page 14 of the Blueprint newspaper.
Moving away from the Blueprint newspaper to the Nigerian News Direct, starting from the very top. Death of Pastor Adeboye's son. We are shaken but confident. That's coming from the RCCG, and that one is on page 22 of the Nigerian News Direct. Beside that, NCC warns telecom consumers on dangers of pre-registered SIM cards. Here's Oil and Gas announces Shell's Osayede as CEO. And to the main headline on the Nigerian News Direct this morning, Presidency probes NPA, suspends Adiza Bala Usman as MD, appoints Koko acting MD. That's on page 2 of the Nigerian News Direct. And then to the very last headline on the newspaper this morning, that's just below the picture of the day. We are servicing our FBN debts on agreed terms. That's coming from Honeywell. And you can find the story on page 3 of the Nigerian News Direct.
All right, moving over to the Daily Times, and beginning from the very top. 4 please, NIN rather same linkage important for peace, stability, says Buhari. And we can get that on page 3. The very obvious headline there says, 4 policemen slain as security chiefs, others meet Senate, pledge to end growing anarchy. You can get details of that on page 2 of the Daily Times. Missing crown. More poses, intrigues over missing Itakiri royal crown. And we can get that on page 18. And Savicom, federal government lauds Ahmed Isa for humanitarian services to Nigerians. And we can get that on page 5. And the last headline talking about Palace Watch. Eze Ogba of Ogbaland, prominent Rivers monarch, joins ancestors. We can get that on page 19 of the Daily Times.
And the last daily we're going to be looking at this morning is the business day, and then the very top you can see the business day market monitor right there, and then to the main headline on the newspaper this morning: rich nations stockpiling critical minerals Nigeria has ignored. And then beside that one, Eco Atlantic, Ikoyi, Lekki, still most profitable investment locations. And then inside the business day newspaper on page 30, digitization to spur growth, but poor internet speed might see Nigeria missing out. And that's the headline on the Business Day newspaper this morning.
Yeah, I'm actually very interested about the story, the final, talking about deadline for NIN SIM registration. Yeah. It has always been on the front of newspapers, one date, and they move it to another and another. And people are asking, like, when are we going to have an end to all of this? Because if you're talking about SIM registration, it has to reach out to everyone, because almost everyone in the world right now has a mobile phone.
Yeah.
And for you to work with a mobile phone, you need a SIM card. So if Nigeria is saying, look, you have to register, it means everyone, even in the rural communities, can register your SIM cards.
And I think that's why they've been moving the date forward, in as much as it's supposed to be a deadline. Because, initially when they said deadline, I'm like, should there be a deadline to it actually? Because when you put a deadline, meaning there's going to be a rush. Do we have the capacity to actually, attend to that number of people when we have the rush? So they keep moving it forward, because we have 200 million Nigerians, and over half of that, own a phone and a SIM card. So you're talking about maybe 100 million people. Do you have the facilities to cater to 100 million people, for a rush? So we have to ensure that we have at least everyone registered their SIM card, because according to one of the headlines, there are dangers of buying pre-registered SIM card, because you don't know whose name the SIM card has been registered to. It could be a criminal, for heaven's sake, or it could be somebody, maybe bandit or kidnapper, used the SIM card before and registered it, and then you get arrested. I mean, it's your SIM card.
Talking about banditry, I really feel like this is like a move ahead if we can leverage on the ICT and technical part of this thing, so we can track. When people are asking for ransoms, they're using the phone to make a call.
Yeah.
So if everyone has done this registration, is it not possible for them to be able to identify people by their phone numbers?
Exactly. That's why they're saying everyone should register this time. So when you register the SIM card at that time, it's in the database, right? So anyone who hasn't registered as at that time, you get the SIM card blocked. So if you were maybe a kidnapper or a terrorist and your SIM card has not been registered, it gets blocked, right? And then so when you have to now make a phone call with a registered SIM card, they can trace it. Wow. I think that's the whole essence of everybody having to.
We really do hope that all of this is rectified.
I hope that happens, yes.
All right, that's the most you can take on the newspaper review segment of the show this morning. We'll take a break now, and when we return, a day so I'll be taking you through what's trending on social media. Do stay.
It's good to have you back on the conversation this morning. It's about that time where I bring you what's trending on social media. What has literally been trending on social media in the last 24 hours, that's concerning us. I mean, it's found its way to the top of the trend table. And, the issue of insecurity in Nigeria has been on the front burner for the longest time. Every day we keep talking about that, and Nigerians keep wondering, what is the presidency doing? And that has been, the conversation across social media platforms, in the last 24 hours. Talking about, the attitude of President Muhammadu Buhari to the rising cases of insecurity in the country. And I'm going to, read out, as always, a few tweets to that regards. The first is from @_Ashiwaju Larry. He says, for a man that cannot hold a live press to address the issues of his nation, nothing can ever make me believe any tweets from President Buhari's handle are directly his opinions. And then this is from Sire Joes. President Buhari came out openly to threaten #EndSARS campaign last year. But our beloved general, he's currently appealing to terrorists. What a wonderful God we serve. This is from at FRN Citizens. The President and Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces appealing for the release of kidnapped citizens. We are better off without a president. Buhari is an insult to the title he bears. And then this is from at Fisayo Shoyombo. President Buhari has launched something today again. He was there in person. Nice JPEGs of him were taken. He looked quite handsome in them. But the next kidnap to happen, you wouldn't see or hear this president. Only his spokesman or service chiefs. Fine boy, photo helps Presido. I think this is, yesterday a press statement was released on President Buhari's official Twitter handle, talking about the states of the nation. And then I think in the last tweet, he said I'm appealing to the bandits and kidnappers to release, the abducted Greenfield students and blah, blah, blah. And Nigerians are like, how are you appealing to terrorists, to bandits? You're literally pleading and begging them to do that. Right? That's a former general of the Nigerian army, and that's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces appealing to bandits. And a lot of people, that didn't go down well with a lot of people, like, oh, it's come to that point where we have to actually just beg them to release, or it's supposed to be taking action and all of that stuff. I think that's where all of this tweet is coming from.
And many people, they are saying that, look, this cannot be coming from the president, because it's just words from his handle, though. Yeah. So how are we sure that he is the one saying? That's why people are saying, look, we need a live chat session. But they don't think that has happened before.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. Like, if you cannot address something at this stage, like on the lifestyle, say, okay, this is what we're going to do. Then I really feel the plight of Nigerians at this moment, especially coupled with the fact that in the last 24 to 42 hours, we had him on picture with Dr. Insa Pantami in a meeting in Abuja. But when it comes to the issue of insecurity, it's tweets that we're reading.
Yes.
So I don't know if you understand.
I totally get you. I mean, I'm a Nigerian. I've been living here for the longest, so I don't know. But I also am of the opinion that I think everyone can sense the tension in every Nigerian. I think everywhere you go, people are, in quotes, feeling very unsafe. They don't know what's going to happen next. You're walking along the road, you see a car parked, you're scared, like, wait, this could be, a bandit or somebody trying to kidnap or abduct me. You're not sure. Across newspapers, they're telling you, don't worry, the FCT is safe, don't worry, the schools are safe. So you can feel the tension brewing in the country as a result of the insecurity. I think it's about time I think it's now, the president is supposed to actually come out and address the people that, look, calm down. We have this under control. We're doing this, and this. And then just tell, if you see this, it just restore confidence in the authority and in the God that look, okay, he does care.
And he does care. And he's the first person when you talk about Nigeria.
Exactly.
So people are actually looking forward to his speech.
Exactly. But I think whoever is an advisor, maybe on security matters and all of that, should literally just, have him do that and just come out and address the people, address us. And me.
Because that's what Nigerians want, according to what we're hearing. Okay.
All right, that's it for what's trending on social media.